talk about Bill Cosby. Come on, it's not even about him. You stink!
Bill Cosby was one of the biggest stars on television, before plummeting down after one of the biggest shockers in celebrity history. He had such hits as The Bill Cosby Show, The Cosby Show, and Cosby. Oh, and Little Bill. Great memories with that show. His movie career was very miss. He definitely shined on the small screen, and one of his most iconic shows was Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. The show was about a group of kids from North Philadelphia who played music in a junkyard and occasionally helping out their friends with problems like stealing, adapting habits from your parents, and more. The show wasn't great, but if it was on TV for 13 years, it must have been doing something right.
And after being off the air for about 20 years and being left with so many shitty live-action adaptations of cartoons, Christmas of 2004 gave me not only a GameCube, but an unappealing, lazily written, and surprisingly confusing film starring the Big Red himself.
Now, lazily written isn't too surprising with live-action cartoon movies like Masters of the Universe, Scooby-Doo, and Inspector Gadget, but for a film adaptation of Fat Albert, there really isn't much to adapt from. And Fat Albert is much simpler than those cartoons, but another type of simple would be Peanuts, which had a childlike essence to it, and Fat Albert seemed more like those PSA specials you had to watch in school. And heck, The Last Airbender source material was pretty much spoon-fed to the filmmakers, and it's still known as one of the worst adaptations. It's kinda like the Super Mario Bros. Movie, where there's not much that can be made for a big blockbuster film. I mean, a parallel dimension where dinosaurs were never extinct and live on to evolve can be considered creative. Confusing, no doubt, but to an extent, creative. But trust me, the Fat Albert movie is just as confusing as Super Mario Bros.
But I'm gonna savor that thought until the third act of the movie. Until then, let's open the curtains for the Fat Albert movie. Ooh.
So the main focus of this story is a high school student named Doris, who is unpopular because she doesn't like to party, get involved, and is uninteresting. She has a supportive sister, but she can be a bitch when she's not.
Doris, why are you acting like such a loser? You're not a loser.
Hey, nobody called her a loser but you. There's no point in being supportive if you're going to be insulting her at the same time. The film's main protagonist is the loser type we see in most high school comedies. If she doesn't get picked on like Peter Parker or anything, she just feels unwelcomed from...
Because any teenager would feel left out by being invited to a party where all the cool kids are. Why is this a problem?
It's not clarified if she denied party offers or if she has anything else going on to keep her from it. The only thing we know that makes her depressed is that her parents are never home. And in this film, we never see them either, and we're not sad. So maybe those parties would help you in these times you're going through. But whatever, I'm beating a dead horse with this.
So we're about 4 minutes into the movie, and we're about to be introduced to our title character. But how, you may ask? The film takes place in North Philadelphia, same as the cartoon, so you'd expect Fat Albert to be a fellow student, a neighbor, or even her brother. Nope. Fat Albert is a fictional character that gets teleported out of her TV set. Movie solved.
After Doris does her moping watching 70s cartoons, because we all did, a tear drops on her remote, creating a portal between her world and Fat Albert's world, because as we all know, tears create dimensional rifts.
Oh my, it's a tear. Hey, what is that thing? It's a monster!
And it gonna be coming get me.
Mushmouth thinks the monster will crawl in here and get us.
I am so confused.
It's not a monster, it's a girl. And she's crying. I'm going to help her.
And Fat Albert immediately goes to help her, and the gang follows. When they try to go back, they miss the show and have to wait until the next episode tomorrow.
Now, what could they do within 24 hours in a society relative to theirs except 20 years more advanced in technology?
Maybe discover cell phones, soda can tops, laptops, wireless microphones, or even horrible green screen effects.
What will they think of next?
The film really doesn't have anything creative to offer. It just leans on unoriginal ideas and overused elements that make the film practically boring. Though the gang does need more than just discovering technology, so they decide to help Doris make some friends.
Yes, she doesn't have any friends, so we came here to tell everybody to be her friend.
Guys, I see cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders? Those are the most popular girls in school.
Well, come on. We gotta get them to be friends with Doris. That'll solve everything.
Yeah, unlike Doris, we're actually trying to be friends with other people. After asking if they and Doris can be friends with the cheerleaders, they invite them all to a block party, which results in...
Save the day, save the day, save the day, save the day.
Why? Oh, why? Well, after that... They tell her that they got invited, and she's not happy with the fact that they're helping her by trying, so they... Oh god, please not again! But they convince her to go, which means they have to go to the mall to get a dress. Oh, and having a montage scene of trying on clothes because... hip.
Now, one thing to take note of in this cartoon adaptation is the antagonist. But what do you get with a bad guy from Fat Albert?
There really was no antagonist in the show except the choices that someone would make or a struggle they were in. But here, we get two sets of bad guys. In the real world, we get a jerk named Reggie, who only seems to have any sort of issue with Fat Albert because he's always around Doris, and we find out she has an adopted sister named Lori who Fat Albert falls for. But even he's not a threat, just an asshole who wants to get inside some girl's pants.
You haven't seen the last of me. Fat man. Fat.
And in the cartoon world, after they leave the little tyke Russell, he gets picked on by a couple of teenagers who want to take over the junkyard. What are their names? Teen number 1, teen number 2, and teen number 3. Yeah, these guys are so lame and had absolutely no effort in creating that they couldn't even give them names.
And since it's an early 2000s high school comedy with a popularity narrative, it's time for the block party, and... my goodness. The block party.
So at the block party, Reggie tries to embarrass Fat Albert by having him sing his theme song at the party, but the DJ is putting a hip-hop twist to it to put him on the spot. But if you've seen the movie, you know that right before this scene, the gang was watching a hip-hop music video and enjoying it, so it totally isn't obvious how this will turn out.
I'm gonna sing a song for you, and we're gonna show you a thing or two.
Aren't you the hip-hop fool?
I don't get it. You know, for a predominantly black cast, they dance surprisingly white, or whatever these moves are considered. In fact, this is making the Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells tour look like a Tyler Perry musical. Reggie embarrasses Doris at the party, and she storms off while Rudy here goes after her.
I don't have a problem. I was doing just fine before you guys arrived.
Hey, they didn't make it worse for you. You just suck at pretty much everything. And to be honest, Fat Albert isn't doing much to help her self-esteem either. You know, trying to get with her sister, you know, no big deal. The only person that's actually trying to help her and give her confidence is Rudy. In the show, he's kind of a show-off, but here, he's a sweet guy.
If I didn't have to go back, I mean, if I was a real person, would you
Would I what?
go out with me?
You mean like on a date?
Yeah.
But we are on a date.
That's right.
This is the kind of guy who would treat you like a princess. But whenever Doris' sister is around, Fat Albert is all, hey, I'm going out with you, sister. Soon, the gang starts getting accustomed to modern times and realizing they have more here than they did in the cartoon. Dumb Donald can read, Harold can play basketball, and Mushmouth even learns to talk.
Say ba.
Ba,
Now say look.
loo,
Now say balloon.
balloon,
Exactly.
balloon,
You got it.
balloon, balloon, balloon.
Thank you, this is great.
Now can you say implausible?
Hey, man, what's up?
Yeah, we'll let Aaron Carter on the set. When he's wearing Rudy's clothes again, call security. After being outside the TV for too long, they realize their colors are fading, which means they're fading out of existence. but I actually think it's kind of funny. Like, if cartoons actually wore the same clothes every day, this is what would happen. I'm kind of glad the writers took that advantage to mock a cartoon in their cartoon movie. It's like eating through a bowl of all the oat pieces of Lucky Charms and eventually finding a marshmallow. It's nice to have a little bit of good in the stale substance I'm plowing through. About an hour into the movie, Bucky, Harold, and Dumb Donald go back into the TV, but the rest miss their chance when Fat Albert decides he wants to stay.
Hey, I said I'm gonna stay.
Hey. Friends don't let friends fade away.
Hey. Run out of stuff to say.
But Albert feels doubtful, so he goes to look for some answers at Bill Cosby's house. Just don't go into his nightstand, you'll probably find some other stuff there too.
Hello, I'm looking for Mr. Cosby. You his dad?
Oh no, they finally made a movie.
I'm Fat Albert.
I'm history.
Well,
Cosby tells Albert that his character is actually based off of Doris's grandpa who passed away some time ago. You know, back in the 80s, when Doris wasn't even born yet.
You remind me of my grandpa.
You remind me of a liar.
No, I don't want to go back into the
What do you mean you don't want to?
No, I want to stay here in the real world.
You can't stay out here. You stay out here, you're gonna turn into celluloid dust.
You're lucky I'm only telling you. When little Bill came out of my TV, I told him to go back or I'd beat his ass purple. After Albert realizes he can't stay in the real world, he goes to Lori to bring her the bad news.
If I don't go back into the TV, I'm gonna turn into a big pile of powdered celluloid.
You know, it's almost funny. Every time someone says they care about me, they wind up leaving.
This is just like the time the Ninja Turtle I liked said he really was a Ninja Turtle.
And this is the third act, so I need to explain what I hinted at earlier about this movie being confusing. So,
when they left their show, leaving Russell behind, the show was still airing apparently. So every time someone would be playing Fat Albert on TV, it would just be without the gang. What the hell was the TV studio airing the show thinking when they saw they were without the main characters? Or without the show? Did they continue airing it as a joke? They didn't think of adding a different episode? Did they interrupt an existing one?
Or all the above. See, you don't need to have a major in film to know that this is nonsensical. You just have to have a brain.
So it's the last day to go back into the TV before they turn to dust.
Wow, that sounds stupid.
So Bill, Rudy, and Mushmouth are heading back.
Hey, Fat Albie. Oh, frick.
Oh, the guy who never had a face at least had a hat to cover it up, but the kid with the debilitating stutter, fuck him. When it's about time for Rudy to go back in and kiss Doris goodbye, Reggie peeks into the window.
Okay, Bill, you're next.
Wait until we tell everyone they were really from the cartoon. That'll prove we're not crazy. While Bill goes back into the TV, Fat Albert says goodbye to Doris as she heads out to the track meet. But before she can head back, he goes to the track to see her win.
Run, Doris, run! You can win!
Or if Fat Albert believes I can win, I'm sure I can do it. But Albert is still fading, and before they can make it home, Reggie confronts Albert one last time.
Whoa. Where do you think you're going? Fat man, it's you and me.
Hey. Get out of our way.
Okay.
Wow. I don't even think Fantastic Four had a climax that quick. Or maybe.
They finally get him home before his cartoon hangover sets in and goes back into the TV. Oh right, we forgot, he's fat. But he makes it just in time for his show that's been off the air for over a decade. Yippee-ki-yay.
Now, I haven't seen every live-action adaptation of a cartoon, but this one ranks pretty low on the list.
This film is both lazy and confusing at the same time, which makes it less enjoyable if I can't make any sense out of it. Nothing is explained about how they teleport between worlds and how it's contained other than having their show on. Why the hell did the TV network still play the show? It would have been taken down when they left and be replaced with whatever else TV Land aired in 2004. This film just shouldn't have been made. It had no good ideas of what to give for a realistic Fat Albert movie because the show's plot was too basic that there wasn't much to go around in terms of story. So I wouldn't recommend this movie at all, because even if you're a fan of the show, I doubt you'll get anything out of it.
You know, after watching this movie, maybe my next review won't be about a controversial celebrity. So, sorry Charlie, Sheen.
The essence of beauty, who's a lovely hair.